Good morning, everyone. We are live on office hours this Friday, March 21st. Welcome. Glad to have you all on. Eric, you want to take us away?
Sure. Well, thanks for hopping on, guys. We appreciate everybody who is here and listening, and always love these office hours as a time to connect. We've got a ton of stuff going on. The Facebook ads campaign, for example, we've got a CRM that is chock full of opportunities, and it's already starting to fill up all the hoppers too, like the urgent, high priority people that have a deal right now that need funded, and like the less urgency but still a great person to connect with. They'll have a deal later, and just tons of leads that didn't necessarily book a call but want to know more and get more info. So that's our world right now, is scaling up and growing, managing those funnels, managing those processes. We had an incredible time at the Private Money Lending Conference, the Mastermind, with Abraham Grain and Alexis Morgan, and that just some relationships we made there. We just got a 450K deal submitted across our desk, and from one of the relationships there, and several more coming from that same person, and probably more to come out of that as well. So we are busy building and growing. We just made another big investment into another mentorship for somebody who helps people to scale and grow, and they'll help us hire. Like we're ready for more salesmen to manage the leads, for more underwriters, for everything to keep growing and getting bigger. So we are super excited for that. I could talk your ears off about all these different things that are going on, but for those who are listening in and have any questions or comments, I want to hear about your story as well, what you're working on the business, how things are going, how we can help you grow. Yeah, so sometimes you have some comments, Justin?
Nope, go for it.
Okay.
I was just
awesome.
looking at the...
Well, Zach, we really appreciate you being on here. Like, it's kind of sometimes office hours, we've got tons of people on here. Sometimes it's a little bit less, maybe with the off week from the PML Mastermind where we didn't. It's, not as many of the regular people are on here. Maybe it'll take a few more minutes. But let's dive into more of your stuff on the RV parks and what you're I remember when we talked about the vision for like the technologically advanced RV park. Tell me a little bit more about like how you saw that as the opportunity. Like, this is what we need. We need to be more techy, and people are going to love it. Like, I want to hear more of the visionary behind that. I think you're muted, Zach. Still got the...
There you go.
Boom.
So many different mute buttons, right? I'm trying to be respectful and not talk over you guys. I love it. And I'm like, which mute button is going on? Too many buttons around. Isn't that life, though, in general? Too many buttons to push and hit. And it's like, which ones do we want to hit first, right? Which ones are in our way? But no, that's awesome. Thank you, guys. And maybe it's serendipitous, and everyone should hop on this. If you're watching this live, these two guys are powerhouses here, right? And they're slinging money. Don't you need money for everything that you're doing? Holy smokes, just talk to these guys and make sure you've got your deal crafted right. And there's tons of opportunity there. I think you guys are awesome, and appreciate you for taking the time to putting this on. So yeah, everyone should wake up and get here and join you in all this. But yeah, you want to talk RV parks? I could talk your face off about RV parks every which way, every which day, and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you know that we've invested in several parks. Like, we're partners on an $8 million park and a $4.5 million park, and we love the business. We're convinced on the industry. I'm all about it. I did, like, Heather Blankenship is one of the mentors in the model. She if you follow her or see her social, she's all over the place.
She's amazing.
Giving tips, like holding masterminds and retreats that teach people how to do. So I did one of her masterminds learning about how to do the RV parks, and that was incredible. As you know, I'm sold, I'm convinced on the space. But what I've kind of seen more of, and my angle was a little bit more of the glamping. My dad took me camping. When I used to live in Florida, we had 5 acres with donkeys and goats and chickens and fruit trees and all that. So my angle initially was more of the, like, let's get away from tech, like let's be in nature, let's be on the farm, that kind of stuff. when I saw your techie RV park, that was really intriguing to me. Not saying it's the wrong way to do it. I'm just like, okay, is this a blend of tech and nature? Like, I want to hear the vision so I can understand like where that's coming from, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. And so, yeah, by the end of this whole thing here, you guys can fund another $4.5 million RV park and marina that we have on the table here.
There you go.
We'll get there in due time. But yeah, so in general, we are building the most technologically advanced RV destination in the world in North Carolina. North Carolina is a wonderful state for that because you get the most amount per night stays in general, and it's got lots of coast, and everyone loves water. So we're buying another one that's 30 minutes away from that. This one's an RV park and marina. But the reason tech is so important and what we're leaning into and the vision, because it's like, yeah, I'm like you, Eric. Man, we would, as a kid growing up, we would canoe with my family from this one island in upstate New York, right? And we would go to this other island in the center, and there was only room for one campsite there. So you had to make sure that no one else was going to that spot. And it was just an hour and a half to get there, and magical memories in my mind, and completely detached from technology. Completely detached. And that's what was so awesome, is because no distractions. You're playing board games, you're playing whatever. What do you see, out in nature? You're fishing. My dad brought a compact rifle that would, go into the stock of the rifle, and I'd learn how to shoot little stuff that's there responsibly, like crab apples and stuff, not like animals. Honestly, I'd rather hug an animal than shoot the darn thing. But still eat meat, don't whatever. Anyway, here I am. We live our lives. But tech can change things. I mean, if you don't embrace the change, you're going to be left behind. Like, who would have thought the internet would have got so prevalent back in the days when the internet was new, and the World Wide Web with web pages? Like, oh, I don't need a web page. I've got the yellow pages and a phone number and all of that. Why would I do that, right? So AI is the same way. Robots are going to be exactly the same way, and just technology is. It's going to change the world. So embrace it or die. Right. And so we are embracing it 100%. And so, yeah, everywhere we go, it might not be that people want to have those, you don't want to sit with your family and watch a movie while you're at a resort that we're creating or in nature. You don't want to do that. But gosh, wouldn't it be nice if you had wonderful internet so you can take those videos, they can upload to the cloud, you can share those with other people in the world, get them onto everything, and just, it can enable so many different things. But technology and robots that we're going to have throughout this resort, it's going to change the human interaction. So some people are a little more introverted, and some people, it's going to be novel to interact with a robot that's a bartender, a robot that's a barista, a robot that is taking your trash away from you, a robot that's bringing a hot tub to the RV pad that's right next to you because you ordered a hot tub. So you get one of those little Amazon what are they? They move the pallets. They go into the pallet, and they can move a whole hot tub around. All those things are entirely possible, and we're going to be doing them. But what it'll do for the human aspect is people are going to meet our guests right at the entrance. We're going to have a human that meets them and say, hello, looking at me as a human. Hello, welcome, can't wait to have a great stay. Let me escort you in our golf cart to your site so that you get where you want and you don't hit anything. But also it gives that human touch. Right. And so then if you want a little bit of, you do your own thing, you can have the technology come in. And if you need something from our general store, for instance, it'll be open 24/7, not just 8 hours a day, because that's what humans love to work, is 8 hours a day. And then they get sick, and then they call off work because they want to be with family and friends, or they pretend that they're sick so that they can call off work. They need workers' comp. They need all these different things. Robots don't need that, right? They need a little bit of oil, squeaky, squeaky, or they need, a little fixing every now and then, but you get redundancies in that and you're good. But we're going to dress up our robots anyway, put some googly eyes on them, put some little Christmas hats on them, make it fun, name tags. We're definitely going to gamify this whole resort. Lazy rivers on the coast, saltwater beach, fun lagoon, relaxation, so many different ways we're going to gamify and make it fun. But humans are expensive, and they add risk to things, unpredictability. And so we want to reduce our operating costs so that we can keep things as lean as possible for our investors, for our guests, for everything.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're leaning in. And it's that delicate balance, Eric. You're spot on with that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you for explaining that vision. Like there's some clear spots there where you talked about how there's operational efficiencies, like the camp store. Somebody can sell it. We don't need a human being. It makes the business model easier. Don't have to hire those employees, but you still have to where someone greets them at the park. I think that's awesome. So thanks for describing that. That really paints the picture a whole lot better for me there. And yeah, the very start of office hours, I thought it might be just Zach and Justin and a couple of robots. Speaking of robots, we had my note taker, Justin's, a couple other note takers, but since then we've had quite a few people hop on. Thomas, Corey, Lance, Jeremiah. Thanks guys for hopping on. I gave a little spiel at the very beginning about Facebook ads and how they're starting to take off. We're getting a lot of deals submitted, as well as deals from past relationships. We've already got one full-time employee. We're looking to hire quite a few more as we're starting to scale. We invested quite a bit into a specific mentorship meant for scaling. So a lot of fun things happening in our business, but I want to hear mostly from you guys instead of just talking about my stuff. So let's hear about you, how your business is going, what you need, and what's going on.
Corey, I'm going to call on you, man. I know you've been putting yourself out there like crazy, so I would love to. And we got a chance to meet in Charlotte, North Carolina, at our little impromptu meetup that we threw together. So come on, man, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing. You're 2 weeks into Gator, right?
Yeah, so 3 weeks as of today. And hey, guys. So I actually had a couple specific questions for you guys. So Justin, I know when we met a couple of weeks ago, you'd basically sent me like the form for your website. It's like, hey, when people have deals, they can submit this form. And I know you suggested if I wanted to white label through your service to literally mimic the form in like a Google form or a Jot form. And then when people submit that to me, I can turn around and submit that to you guys. So that's what I did. I mimicked the form that you guys have in a Google form. And I'm starting to kind of put that out there. So at these meetups, I'm like, hey guys, I have hard money. I can fund your fix and flips. Now, the main question I have for you guys is around how to, or if almost like a concise summary of the loan product, right? Because Justin, I know you explained it to me, but I guess I want a little more clarity. I know you said it's a 7-month period, but there's, I guess the money's a little cheaper with each month that you pay it off earlier. Can you kind of just like summarize it for me?
Yep, absolutely.
Here, so I can just make a quick note.
Yeah, Corey, we can give you our flyer and our type of stuff. But
I think I have the flyer, I guess. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Justin, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you our loan analyzer video, which when you look at the loan analyzer at the very bottom, it has a listing of exactly what our product is. All of our loans are 7 months, so we're always going to issue the loan for 7 months. But there's early payoff discounts, so we're incentivizing people to be able to pay off early and get it for a little bit cheaper. So you'll be able to see the two products there. If you have any questions about that, you let me know. If anybody else would like to kind of see that really quickly in real time, I can pull that up in a second. I'll let Eric, you can kind of talk a little bit about it, but I'll pull it up too.
You can tell who does what in each role, right? Like I'm more on the marketing and the sales, the branding, like the product, how the product works, why you should choose us versus a hard money lender. And Justin's more on the underwriting, like here's how you get your deal qualified and all that kind of stuff. So the loan calculator is good for underwriting, like how deep you need to be to qualify for 100% financing and all of that. Just to get people started though, to understand, okay, who on earth are these guys? Why do I want to work with them instead of the 100 other lenders that I could possibly go to? I just put in the chat a very quick little blurb that describes what we do, and it describes what is just completely impossible with hard money lending. And Corey, I know you said hard money lending. When I was first starting out, like it was a little bit confusing to me, like what's the difference between a hard money lender and a private money lender, right? Is it kind of the same thing? They both give me a loan, but hard money is institutional, right? They're big companies. They're usually backed by a bank or a hedge fund. They get their funds at 7 or 8% annualized, and then they charge you upfront points, monthly payments, junk fees, all that. It's between whatever 12 to 15% annualized, maybe more. Like Abraham Gray calculated out at about 18% annualized when you add up all their fees and stuff. But that's how they make their spread. A good hard money lender could close in 3 weeks. A lot of them take longer than that. But private money is way less paperwork, way less hassle. You might be able to tell that I'm biased, but I've done hard money several times, and it's a 250-something page closing doc process, and lots of emails back and forth. So what I put on there is just describing like why we can do incredible things that hard money lenders can't. There's no strings attached with us. We're not attached to some big brother, hedge fund, bank, whatever, that tells us what we can or can't do. This is just us. It's our own money. We make our own choices. And that's why we can close as fast as 2 or 3 days. So like just one little marketing or like kind of sales and branding tip to just make people blow their minds is like, if you're using my product correctly, then my product is free. And people are like, what? What do you mean? Your loan is free? That's impossible. Like, I don't get it. I'm like, yeah, you didn't get my pitch. Like I told you, if you use it correctly, it's free. Like our flyer says we have a 10% flat fee in 3 months. So that means that fix and flippers who find a freaking amazing deal, 100K, right? Let's say it's 100K, it needs a deep clean or some touch-ups, and they can turn around and sell it for pretty much double. They're going to sell it for 200K, right? We will fund that lightning fast. 2 or 3 days, we can close that and give the 100K, and then 3 months later, it gets sold, refinanced, whatever, 10% fee, so 110K is what gets put back to us. Is everybody following the math there? And then the reason I tell them the product is free is because so often when you have a motivated seller and you give them 2 offers, give them one offer that's, hey, I'm gonna have to get financing. I'm gonna have to go to the local credit union or the bank or whatever. It's gonna take me 30 to 45 days to close, and my offer is 110K, for example. Or if you don't want that, I can scrape up some cash. We'll give you a cash offer, but it'll be a 4-day closing, whatever, something super quick. Today's a Monday, for example. I'll close you on Friday. You say when and I'll close. But since I've got to pull cash out to do that, then it's 100K. I'm going to give roughly a 10% discount. So when they do that, like we've seen real examples of this where sellers will take the 100K cash offer in my hand, get it done, no muss, no fuss, right now, instead of the 110K offer that'll take 30 days or more to close. So if you're leveraging that speed of the private money and negotiating with the sellers, then our 10% flat fee just got completely wiped out by leveraging our faster close. Like those are the little tidbits of tips and tons more to why private money has so many powerful things you can do that hard money can't. That even though our product, if you go penny for penny, looks more expensive than hard money, it's actually better in a lot of ways.
That does make sense. And I see the, I'm looking at the sheet here. So yeah, basically it's loans over 67K. It's 90 days or less, 10% flat, 120, 11 and a half, and up to, I guess if it goes the full 7-month term, it's 17% flat.
You got it. Yep.
Got it.
And then we offer a product that's 66,000 and lower, essentially just offering it as a, a lot of people get cut off at that dollar amount. They're just like, we're not going to do a loan. We can't really do a loan on those rates that we have above for 67,000 and above because it doesn't make sense economically to do that. The amount of work that goes into it, but we can offer it at a flat dollar amount fee. So if that still works for someone, great. We have a couple of loans that are in that category right now where it's still first position debt at like 63. I think our lowest is 63,500 in first position right now. And the guy just needed a little bit of capital, and it was still a win for him. It's like 40 acres of land.
And then
and a house.
Just one more quick question. I know John's got his hand up. So, and I know you'd said you guys don't charge any points on the front end. So if we were to white label your service, we would want to charge, half a point on the front end. And that would kind of be our fee there.
No. Don't charge half a point, Corey. Charge 2 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a valuable product. Half a point is not enough for your time. You need to charge like 1 to 2 points, not half a point to 1 point.
Okay. Got it.
Yep.
This is really helpful. Yeah. Cause I've got I've talked to a few people this week that I think are going to need fix and flip loans here locally. I just wasn't exactly confident in like exactly the details of your product, and now I think I can have a much more intelligent conversation with them about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when people hear 100% financing and no monthly payments, like I have had so many sales calls. I've got these recorded where people are like, where were you last year? Like, I could have closed a ton of deals with you. Like, where was this product? I wish I just knew about it earlier. Like, I lost a ton of deals. If I knew I had a private money lender who could close me in 3 days, who doesn't charge monthly payments and gives me all the funding I need, like, there were a ton of deals I lost last year that I could have made a bunch of money on. So it's, you know, like I could honestly charge points. I could charge 2 or 3 points and still close a ton of deals. I just don't, because that's my marketing and value, that like whoever's connected directly with me, like I only charge you at the very, very end, like a partner. But it's, what I'm trying to say is it's easy to sell this product. Like when people really understand what the product is, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's great. I love it. I'll do it. Let's do deals. So it should be easy once you truly understand it and the benefits it provides to sell it. And they shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, they're charging 1 or 2 points to me. Like that's the value that you brought by bringing it to us, right? That if somebody is not convinced that this is a good product, then it's not the right fit for them. Like I could talk about this forever. John, I know you've got your hand up. I'll get to you soon. But there's like the people that this is not necessarily a great fit for is like my friend Victor Jarasek has done 201 flips in Gainesville, Florida. I've done several with him. Just a machine, an absolute machine. He's got so much money and so many resources, so many project managers, that he's the best fit for the Lima ones and the Chiavis of the world, where they're just like absolute dirt cheap rates, as low as you can get, you know? Because like to him, like, so what, I've got to pay a down payment to Chiavi. So what, I've got to do monthly payments. So what, I've got to close it. Like to him, the only advantage that we really provide is that if you had a motivated seller that needed a 5-day close, he'd go to us. We would close it, lock it up really quick, because this hard money lender can't do that. But for the other stuff, it's just like the overall dollar amount is the only thing that matters. But for the majority of fix and flippers and burr investors, this product does provide a ton of advantages that none of the other hard money lenders can touch. And just touching on 2 other really quick points, like rural properties. I've had Gainesville, Florida, go Gators, you know, #1 seed. They're like a city of 100,000 plus where I lived for 7 years. And I've had a hard money lender reject me for a deal right in the middle of Gainesville in a good side of town. Because it said, hey, we don't do that zip code. We do the zip code over. We don't do 32606, but we will do 32607, 32608. Makes no sense at all. So like if you got a small town, North Carolina, small town, Georgia, hard money lender says, screw it. I'm not funding your deal. Private money funds those deals all day long. And besides that, if you have a low purchase price, like a lot of hard money lenders say, any purchase price below 100K, that's a no-go. Or even below 75K, that's a no-go. There's tons of our deals that are a 30K purchase price, 50K rehab, that's 80K total. We'll fund those. And there's hardly any competition on those because the hard money can't even touch it. That's beneath their criteria. Does that make sense, Corey? Yeah. So just like learning these kind of things and finding the kind of people, you'll see that like the more you dive into this space, the more you see that yes, private money is more than hard money in some regards, but there's just so many things you can do with it where the hard money is just completely locked out. Like credit score as well, that's a huge one. We closed a 415K deal in Georgia just because somebody dropped like 5 points in their credit score and it was below the hard money lender credit cutoff, even though they had years of relationships and deals closed with that hard money lender. Like I could go on and on about like how hard money is just, they don't get the deal done that you need, and private money gives so many benefits that you can tout on the marketing end of it to get that up. John, let's hop to you. How's it going, John?
It's going really well. Thank you for doing this. This is an amazing opportunity for us that are just starting our lending journey. So my biggest question is about raising capital. It's something that I've been doing. I know it's a full-time job, and it's been something that I've been working on, but I have not done it all that well. I've been able to raise money through friends and family because we've known each other for 20, 30 years. But now it's getting to a point where I need to expand, and I can't offer the same rates that I was giving to my friends and family because to me, I don't like having to vet the borrower every single time. And you have a lot of points of failure that could happen with these types of loans. So what is and I've been spending a lot of time, for those that don't know, I've been partnered with Alexis and Abraham to open up Virginia. Exactly. Yeah, take that same exact business model that they have in Georgia and apply it to Virginia. So the past month, I've been just pounding the deal intake, just looking for new lending opportunities. However, realizing that I need to raise capital at a much higher clip. So I guess one of the things is, what is the most effective way for being unknown to raise capital? That's question number one. And number two is, how do you, I guess, finding ways to make sure that your lenders are taken care of and have a place to put their money if, for example, if we don't have a deal in Virginia, if we don't have enough deals in Virginia for them to loan on yet. Like, I guess those are my two questions.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That are wonderful questions. And I could talk for hours about that specific aspect of capital raising. My very first one line reaction to you now in your business and where you're at would be who, not how. Like, I think that you need to figure out the marketing end of things first. Like you don't, for example, you don't need an integrator to integrate your sales process if you've got 0 sales, or if you've got 1 sale every 6 months. Like, you don't need an integrator to integrate that. There's nothing to integrate, right? So the thing is drumming up the business, getting a lot of interest, getting a lot of leads coming through. You do have to be careful about that though, because you can't just promise a ton of people you're going to fund their deals, and all of a sudden you got no capital to fund it, because that looks really bad. They're like, oh, and then they don't trust you, and then they don't refer you, and then they say, yeah, well, they said they couldn't do it because they were short. Like, I have never once committed to a deal and then backed out because, oh, sorry, our funding dried up, we can't do it. Never once has that happened. And I've never once committed to a deal and not funded it, where there wasn't a clear reason, like there was a felony, or who knows, something came up on the credit and background report where this was okay, I'm sorry, this is just a no, bankruptcies, accounts and collections, that kind of stuff, where it's this is our criteria, you didn't meet it. So anyways, you have to have the funding to back it up, but you have to build a lending business, and that's what we're doing right now. There's so much to do to build the business, the underwriting, the processes, the marketing, the sales, the back end, the communication with title, the transaction coordinator. There's all these parts of the business that have to be built. And ideally you're building it so that you're doing nothing, zero. Justin and I are building it so that we do nothing, which is not true. We do everything. But the whole idea is, as we hire each new employee and as we get the business to scale, we're working on growing the business, on the business, not in the business. Right? So we're going to have people to run the whole thing so that when it gets to that critical mass, Justin and I can literally do nothing and have the whole business running itself, because all of those phases are there. So there's just so much for you to do in Virginia that it seems like your focus would be way too dried up if you're trying to build a massive lending business and get all those pieces and employees and parts together. And then you also have that burden of capital raising. So I would have somebody else be your capital raiser. I think there's way too much for you to do as far as deal flow and structure and organizational management and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I would do. My second comment is, if that's just completely not possible right now to have somebody else doing it, then you need to find your avatar. You need to find okay, is this people that are getting 1% a year on their bank account that want to get 8 to 10%, or what type of person is this? What do they eat for breakfast? Where do I find them? There's a whole leads and sales funnel just for capital raising as well. It's a ton of work to develop, but if you're going to take on that side of the business, then that's, there's a whole lot of steps that you would get to do there to go from a cold relationship to something that is a little bit better for the fund.
Yeah, so I mean, the back end stuff, I have a partner. He's been helping with the organization, and we have a TC lined up. I have a VA who's been pretty much automated cold outreach, where we have 150 hard money lenders that we annoy the crap out of every 2 weeks. I want a deal to loan. I want lending opportunities. We reached out to 100 title companies in Virginia, and we have a list of 57,000 realtors in the state that we are constantly, well, we're not through the list, but we're doing cold outreach. But I mean, Abraham pretty much said that he has the ability to turn on that funnel for us. And so that's why capital raising to me is the highest priority, because even if we don't have the lending opportunities in Virginia, we can pass those off, the lenders off to like you or Abraham or whoever else has a similar model. So I'm just trying to find, because I like to just go all in. And so right now capital raising is my top priority because everything else is getting taken care of by either VA or my partner. And so I'm just looking for the most effective way to continue to build a capital raising fund. Like right now I have a Facebook group that I've used that I originally was purposed for self-directed retirement accounts, but I've kind of pivoted that now and actually promoting it now, as well as doing something like this where we have weekly Zooms that talks strictly about private money. But just how do I expand this more efficient manner?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have separate meetings where we can brainstorm and help and think about this more, like one-on-one more too. But I'm just kind of, I don't know if shocked is the right word, but like what I think I heard was that capital raising is the bottleneck of the business. Is that right? Like you've got leads, you've got deals to fund, you've got everything else. Like you could close $10 million worth of deals, not that much, but like, sure, you've got tons and tons of stuff ready to make a huge business, and capital raising is the bottleneck.
Yeah, because my thought was I was going to leverage my partners and their lending partners while I just finished getting the deal intake, pretty much on autopilot. But now it's got to be reversed where I got to raise the capital, and I have places to put that money with other lending companies. And so because of that, Abraham's pretty much just said, okay, well, we can't market heavily in Virginia until you have the capital raising side taken care of. And so, yeah, I have places to put that money, but it has been a weak point for me because, I've been talking about raising capital for a year now. And again, outside of my personal network, it's been a struggle.
Yeah. So and you don't have to answer these questions if it's too like in depth into your business too, but like basically you have enough leads to fund a lot of deals in Virginia right now.
Not Virginia specifically, because we can't turn that funnel on because we don't have the lending partners available to do it. So that's why I was going to use Georgia as a placeholder, because he said he's got more deals than money. And so if I just use Georgia as a placeholder, then once I know I have reliable lenders, then I can turn on the funnel for Virginia and then start having them kind of flow in there as well.
Yeah. Did you say Georgia?
Yeah, because that's where
Georgia. Sorry, yeah, Georgia. So Abraham and Alexis, yeah. So yeah, this is interesting. I mean, like if you've got a ton of deals, you should just be brokering those. I think that's what you already are doing. Just like to me, it's easier to make money brokering a deal, saying like, hey, I'm going to get 1 or 2 points. I'm going to shop this deal off to a lender and get 1 or 2 broker points on it, than to raise the capital for that deal. Because raising the capital is more relationship based and all of that. But yeah, I mean, so that's a good problem to have it if you're confident that you can get enough leads. It's a good problem to have capital raising be the bottleneck, but I'm still leaning towards the who, not how, because like
I think Eric froze.
Talk about visionary and integrator. My weakness is being the integrator and my strength is being the visionary. Then it's not the highest and best use of my time to go learn all those integration parts and pieces, because I'm not going to have my heart into it like I would on the spot of the business that I'm most naturally fit to, right? So like basically the argument of those books is like, people sometimes think way too much about I need to work on my weaknesses. No, work on your strengths. Work on your strengths. Like there was a speed reading test study they did where like they had slow readers and fast readers, and they all trained them on speed reading, and like who improved the most on the speed reading. You'd think that the slow readers did, like, oh, the slow readers got 2 times faster and the fast readers got 1.1 times faster. No, completely opposite. The slow readers who went through all that speed reading training just got marginally better. The fast readers who already were fast at speed reading like tripled their speeds. Like the people who already were good at it got way better. So to me, like what I'm hearing from your story is like you aren't really good at everything but the capital raising. So find somebody who's really, really good at the capital raising. I don't know if you got to give them equity in the business. I don't know if you like you raise capital at 14% and they raise it at 12%, it's total 14%, so you pay them the 2% spread. Like I don't know what model that'll be with them, but you've done an impressive thing. You've basically got this whole lending business ready, which is an impressive, huge thing to do with everything but the capital raising. So like work on that muscle, work on what you already were good at, make that part of the business explode. And then the weakness or the challenge, the struggle point, which is the capital raising, get someone else to do that. Because somebody else could raise $5 million a lot faster and easier than you could, probably, if you find that right person. And that's what would make your business explode right now.
Okay. I really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
If I had to guess, John, I would say that my hunch is you're more of an integrator, aren't you?
Well, I don't know, because I don't like setting up stuff. I'm weird. I'm still trying to figure myself out. But
yeah, you're probably weird like me. I'm a little bit of both, but I lean heavily towards the integrator side.
Yeah, if I could just stay at home and never talk to anybody, like I'd be cool.
Okay.
But then I also want to like.
You sound like an integrator, John. You sound like an integrator.
Yeah.
And to be clear, like integrator does not mean techie.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, oh, I need to find an integrator. They need to be a freaking wizard at Python and AI and all that stuff. No, you can find people or systems or programs to figure out the tech. Your integrator is good at integrating, like taking all these parts and pieces of the puzzle, making them fit well, making the systems work well. So integrator doesn't mean techie. Integrator also doesn't necessarily mean introverted versus extroverted, although that's another stereotype. But that is one thing I've seen with integrators. It's like it's a little bit harder to identify yourself. Like Justin was on the border, like am I a visionary and I'm an integrator? The more I've talked and worked with him, I'm like, Justin, that what you just said is so integrator. Like, yeah, I think that you'd be surprised if you like started working with more people and seen like the extreme ends of integrator and visionary, like where you said. I would guess that Justin's right, that it's more on the integrator side.
Yeah, you're probably right, because for me, it's all process driven, checklist. This is what we can do next, and this comes up next, and this comes next.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I thought I was an integrator.
Integrator doesn't always mean that you just eat, drink, and sleep SOPs like they're the funnest thing in the world. Okay. I write an SOP because not having a guide drives me nuts. But it's not because I'm excited about sitting down and writing an 8-page SOP. That could be a stereotype of an integrator, that they just love doing all of this boring stuff, and that's not necessarily true. For me, my impetus to write it is because I have to understand, I have to make something work. I just have to make it work. And if the piece to making that work is this boring thing of writing an SOP all the way down, I'll do it. But yeah, I have to have things organized. Eric knows that.
Yeah. Like the visionaries are just like everything has got to be organized, processes, repeatability, like consistency, reliability, like all of that stuff. And visionaries are like variety is the spice of life. Let's shake things up. Like let's do something different. Let's shake up our business model. Let's think about different things. Let's make new connections. Let's network. Let's learn and meet more people. Like that's the visionary side of me, where it's like, okay, how can I shake up what we're doing to make it better, to make it different, and like the competitive edge, like to me, I can make a calculator that'll give people like just a quick answer on what the loan part is, but that's what's more exciting to Justin, is like, okay, we've got a standardized calculator. It's awesome. To me, what's more exciting is the soapbox that I just did a few minutes ago on like, I'm private money, they're hard money. This is why we kick butt, and this is why private money is better than hard money. It's like that competitive edge, the negotiations, like that. That's the visionary. If you're not really into that competitive edge, negotiations, new ideas, shake things up, then like that would put you more on the integrator side than the visionary side.
Yeah, I think that reminds me of something I told Justin, I think, in Atlanta, where I just want nice and simple, process-based, where I don't have to do easily repeatable. I can train anybody to do it, and I can just
confirm, John. You've
You're
got
an integrator.
blood in you. Let me switch topics. Now we got some more hands up for a bit.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's meet. Yeah, let's meet again. Let's talk more about your business. I'd love to help and think and just brainstorm just to keep up the connection, get things going. Lance, you got a hand up. How you doing, Lance?
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Good.
Doing
to
great.
see you.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get on and meet with you guys on this for months, and so I finally put it on my calendar and jumped on. So thanks for doing
Love
this.
it.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys for doing what you're doing in our community, and I congratulate you on the partnership. You know, I think you guys make it a great team, and I'm super happy to see Justin hop on with you, Eric. Really, really cool. We got to spend some time in what was it, Vegas last January, right? At Brian Pineda's event, WealthCon, and I could see that you know, Justin was making moves, talking to people, so it was really cool to see him plug in with you guys. So I love to see what you're doing too. And I wanted to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about what kind of intake form are you guys using to vet people? Like, are you using just still job form, or have you got some more advanced stuff now that's integrated into your CRM or your website? That was one of the questions I had.
Well, I just put the form right there if you want to check it out, and that's an integrated question. I'll let Justin take it.
Yeah.
We switched over to Monday. So the form is a Monday form, for better or for worse. There's things I like about it. There's things I don't like about it. The thing I like about it is that it's directly connected with Monday. There's no third-party interfaces to make it connect or do any weird stuff. But it works quite well. There's just some little weird kind of quirky things about Monday's form. It doesn't like characters, so you can't put in a comma, into your $2 million ask. Some weird things like that will throw an error message. And sometimes it's not as intuitive as you'd think it should be to help the borrower kind of see what went wrong. But overall, it does seem to be working. We had a few glitches that we were able to actually get, I think, mostly taken care of, that have eliminated a lot of the, kind of the hiccups that people were running into when I first built it. I'm not a Monday certified guy, so that was a who not how.
You took the online course on it though, so you know more than a whole lot of people know.
Yeah. It's that was a who not how thing, so I'm leaning into that. Eric, don't take my thunder there. It was a who not how. I'm not going to be a Monday guru.
No, it looks like John might have stepped out too, but just for the general comment on integrators and visionary, it's like also more present tense versus future. Well, like Justin's answer is very present tense thinking, like this is what works right now, this is how you do it. Like my answer for the intake form is much more like, this is what I would love it to be in the future, where we'll probably need some other service besides Monday, but I want it to be interactive, because like beyond just like the commas and the 4 million where people submit it wrong, like if somebody meant to put $40,000 rehab, this just happened just recently, it's a $40,000, they put 400,000, and it's hard to, the system doesn't give you any stupid commas, but like I'd love to have an interactive assistant there that, like, as you're typing out the form, there's AI that's talking to me like, hey, hold on a sec, you said 400K rehab, that's huge, that doesn't make sense for a ARV of 300K. Did you mean 40K? Did you mean 50? Like that assistant, or even just like without a Clippy or whatever the assistant is, just like even just like some messages that kind of pop up and say like, at somebody submitting the deal, by the way, if they're submitting something that's just like 80% loan to value, which is beyond what we fund, I want them to get that message now. And I want them to get like, before they even click submit, say, hey, hold on a second, this one says 80% loan to value. You might want to go back to our deal submission checklist and our loan calculator, click here, and they'll be like, oh, run it through our calculator first to make sure the numbers make sense, then go through all the hassle of uploading your LLC docs and blah, blah, blah to submit the full deal.
Yep.
That's great. I love that you have a calculator in the form. That's sick.
Not yet.
That's the visionary.
Okay.
That's visionary version.
I'm writing that down because I want to do that too.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I love it. It's something I want.
Get to work. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's a great idea, man. But so the other thing is do you guys do any kind of light vetting up front, or are you just handing out the link? Because that's the thing. I don't like just hand out my link I want to do some light vetting and get on a call first. So how do you guys handle that?
Well, we have a sales process where we
Yeah.
do get on the call and like talk with people and convince them. But otherwise, like if a broker submits a deal, like our loans are so asset based. Like if you're doing second position lending, which I did before, it's way more relationship based because you don't know what that person's hiding. Like if they declare bankruptcy, a second position lien completely wiped out. Like second position, there's all sorts of ball of wax that can happen. But first position loans, like the person, you know, as long as they don't have anything really hairy on their criminal background check, and as long as they don't have bankruptcy or collections, like there is no other flag in our system that says they're not getting a loan. Like if the deal passes, if the numbers work out, then they get the deal. So there's not really a filter where it's like, hey, I got to get on the phone and feel this person out to see if they seem reliable or not. We just don't do that because we're in the States where we can foreclose lightning fast. We're low loan to value. Like
I would just say
get feedback or we're going to get the property.
I would just say it's fairly simple process. I mean, to make it really bare bones, stripped back, here's the process. People submit a deal. First thing we're going to look at is, do the numbers make sense? The numbers are first. If the numbers make sense, or if they don't make sense, it's immediate denial and we don't bother going any further. If
or
the numbers
suggest they get lower purchase price, that's the visionary. Like
yeah.
Try to make it like lower your purchase price. You offered way too much.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the extremes. You know, so we don't usually deny unless it's an extreme. So if it's like a marginal difference, yeah, we can talk through those. If it's like an extreme where they're asking for like 90% loan to value or something like that, that's a no-go. So numbers, and then if numbers look good, then we're starting to look at borrowers' past history. So if they have any experience, that's going to be important. We want two evidence of 2 past rehabs if they're doing something that's over $20,000 in rehab budget. If it's like a cosmetic, then we don't really care if they've got past history doing a deal. And then once the deal has been approved, if it goes past underwriting, then the next level of sort of due diligence actually happens after they sign the term sheet. They'll sign the term sheet, and then that's when we require them to go ahead and pay for a background check that we have already set up. They click in there, they do their background check. It's a nice nationwide search, and it also checks for just a credit report. So those are kind of, from a borrower standpoint, we're looking at past rehab experience and their background and credit. And those are the primary things that we're looking at. We don't dig super deep, don't do a crazy interview or anything like that.
Right on, man. Love it. One more question. So are you guys funding? You're not funding. So if they come to you for a first position loan, you're not giving them the rehab, right? They have to go find that.
No, we give the rehab, but we do it as a construction holdback.
That's amazing. I love that. So you're putting funds in an escrow account, and you want to see the scope of work. You want to see progress reports and stuff. That's amazing. We've been doing this.
Funds don't go in an escrow account. Like we hold the fund, our capital partner holds it, because that's another thing we talked about, the PMO mastermind, like the Dutch versus the non-Dutch style of rehab. Like some lenders will be like, hey, we're only going to charge you for what's out. But for us, you know, like if we're holding that money back, then we can't go give that money to somebody else's deal. So we're going to charge them. Like if it's a 100K purchase and 50K rehab, we've got 150K set aside for you. So we're charging you the rate based on that 150K, even though you didn't use that 50K rehab until later, because we can't do anything else with that 50K.
Right.
Although for the capital raising side of it, if you've got a big or what do you call that, like a whale, like a big capital partner with a lot of money, in that case they could. In that case they could like have 20 million in loans out and like 5 million in future rehab, but not necessarily, you know, like they're basically getting paid more for their money because they've got tons of money and they can pull accounts or lines of credit or whatever more flexibly. So that actually bumps up their true rate of return, since they're not using that money, but they still get paid for that, if that makes sense.
Nice. Yeah, no, it does. That's great. So I want, if you guys are open to it, I'd love to hop on a Zoom with my new partner. I just brought on a partner.
Nice.
For the capital raising part side. She is a rock star. And so we're building a full service lending business, you know, lines of credit, everything, hard money. So I'd love to talk to you guys about your first position product and see if we could work together. So
Sounds good. Good.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks,
Yeah.
man. It's great to have you on here. Zach, got another question? Hand up.
Yeah. Hey, guys. So I hear you talk a lot about fix and flips and everything like that. Love those. Done 100 of those renovating in time. And yeah, man, if you guys were around when I was doing those in the last decade, that would have been awesome. Found a local guy here and was able to find some terms that were nice where you could get 100% financing here, but it's also a unicorn. Yeah, so finding you guys is like finding a unicorn in the wild. And when you find something like that, latch on to that, everyone here. Yeah, because you can do a lot with that with no money down on it. So really powerful. So, but my question is like, okay, I love RV parks. And I know we've talked in the past, but I don't know where you guys are now with that. Are you still funding bigger things, RV parks and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. So that's like visionary Eric will say, we'll fund everything and we'll fund your Pokemon cards. Like we do everything. We love it. But you know, like from the answer of like integration and building the business, right? Our main focus right now is building the private money lending business, making it massive, making it successful, eventually having an exit of some sort where we just sell it for a bunch of money, or where we can like hire a, I'm guessing, young, ambitious CEO so that he or she can grab the reins and take it off and keep growing the company while we step away and are just the owners of it. So that's the focus right now. I actually love the RV space more, dare I say it and confess my sins. I love the RV space more than short-term private money loans, but I need the short-term private money loans. And that's the way that I will, you know, we've made good money on a lot of these and it's just growing and growing and growing, getting better and better and better. So it's the vehicle through which I'll be able to create the wealth to then do more of the investments that I want into those assets, like the RV parks, the glamping, the nature resorts, all that kind of stuff. But in the very short term right now, we have funded several RV parks with capital partners of ours, and we will fund more of them. It's just not something that we advertise or market out because it's not like we don't want to get 20 calls a day like fund my RV park. You know? It's more of a relationship based, slow build thing. It's not like a business we're scaling right now.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where we love for it to travel through the grapevine of the best operators, right? Where they all talk with one another. So being able to allow it to travel is a great thing, because once it gets blasted out, we get hit with hundreds of, you know, text messages. Hey, got this cool RV park, you know, it's the first one we're taking down. Love for you guys to fund it tomorrow if you guys have if you guys could. Like, no, like, go away. So like you get the weirdest kind of requests once it goes public. Like it's almost like going on Pace's you know, PML list. I mean, I've been on that list a few times and it's kind of a nightmare because you just start getting hit with text messages and phone calls. Got this
somebody wanted me to fund a
multifamily
sushi restaurant.
Funding this restaurant
This morning in the email.
Can we get that funded today? I'm looking to put in a new oven. Like,
well, awesome. Well, yeah. Well, cool. Then, yeah, we don't need 10 people today. I can be your one RV park for today or this week if you haven't funded one yet.
Yes.
But yeah, I'd love to show you guys, you know, now that I just finished coming back from North Carolina doing our in-person due diligence of this with my whole team of this RV park and marina that we've got. And it's an awesome one. And it spits out so much money that there's lots of possibilities with that. So I'd really love to bring you the hard numbers of it now so that we can explore what possibilities there are with that, so that we can just circle around, right? In architecture, we're slow to fall in love with our design. We iterate, we get closer and closer to where it is. So yeah, I'd love to see if this one is a good fit for you guys with all the other private equity that we have and the seller financing that we have on this. So there's lots of options with that. And our seller financing, the way I negotiated it is he agreed to be a junior lien to any other financing that we put in place. So I'm setting it up, for success all the way around, man. So yeah, cool. So excited to share that with you guys and just be more success stories in life, right?
Yeah.
and then have you guys come and visit. So Eric, we can show you. All right, we can get that nature, that awesome, those good experiences. But then you'll see how we take a park and marina from a 77-year-old man who earlier this week said, I think we should start a Facebook page to do some social media for it. And I'm like, yeah, that might be a good idea, right? So there's very low-hanging fruit with a lot of these RV parks in just the advertising that you do with it, but yet alone everything else and the different things you can sell and the technology that we're going to put in place. But this is a great one where we're going to be taking something from a campground style feel of everything and the technology and just really bringing it to the modern age. And that's why we call it Modern RV for the brand, is because we are just modernizing all these things. Plus, we have tons of economies of scale because it's by our Disneyland of RV parks that we're creating. So there's lots of good little nuances with all of that.
Cool.
And yeah, love to chat with you guys about that offline.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing the Squad Up Summit next week. So, and I'm flying on Thursday from Brazil to the US. Pretty much all day Thursday, I'll be on the plane. So if you want to meet with us sooner, it would have to be Monday through Wednesday this coming week. If not, it would have to be the week after that, like later in the week from all the travel.
Yep. Well, I'm all about not waiting in life. So let's make it sooner. If it's something worth doing, it's worth doing immediately. So let's make it happen. Yeah, and I also have this little baby that's going to pop out literally any day. And that's why I can't go to Squad Up. And Justin, I got your... Yeah. So Justin, I got your message about that. And I want to be fair to everyone. So I'm going to be doing... I'm going to do something where everyone that's interested in my ticket and the hotel room and everything, I'm going to put it into, I was debating like a randomizer, or I'm probably just going to write them all on little pieces of paper and have put them in my living room and have my little boy go and grab one of them. Because who the heck knows what he's going to go grab. And it's all about the energy of being with family anyway. So I'm like, you know what? Let me put that out there to him, and fate will end up deciding what's happening. And I'll still connect with all of you. And gosh, if I can attract more tickets from people, more hotel rooms, why not? Because I would love to be with all you guys and see you guys in person. It's powerful here to be with you guys, and everyone should be in these types of things all the time with people. But it's so much better to feel everyone's energies in person. It's just so different.
Totally agreed.
It's raw and real and awesome. So that's it. Cool, guys.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Well, awesome, guys. It looks like we're getting to the end here. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for being a part of these office hours. I absolutely loved it, and hope to see you guys on here many times again.
Take care. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Have a good Friday.